Mobster Boss Radio Live is not intended for anyone under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18 and still here from this point on, we assume you are here with the consent, approval, and supervision of a parent or guardian. With that said, here's Lester.
Oh, man, it's been a while since I've been on the radio. I think 13, 14 days, I'm not sure. But you know what? I'm going to get right on to one of the topics that I'm going to discuss. You know, the other day I was sitting at the Ford place. I had my excursion in, and they were having to check out the computer. And while I was in the waiting room, I'm sitting there, and there's another man in there about 3 seats down from me, about 3 chairs away, a black guy. I know. All you politically correct motherfuckers are going, oh my God, he's starting off racist right off the bat. No, it's pertinent to this conversation that I point out that he's a black guy. You know, I'm disappointed in myself that I felt the need to explain that to you ignorant motherfuckers that are waiting for something racist to come up. But anyway, so I'm sitting there, this black guy's about 3 or 4 chairs down from me, and this black woman, you know, by the way, I noticed she was black as well, but she comes walking in there into this waiting area, and there's a little coffee pot thing, and you can get coffee there. So she walks over to it, and she's dressed in some really tight clothes. She was well dressed and looked like she was well kept, and she gets her a cup of coffee. She looks over our way. When I say our way, mine and his way, and she kind of smiles, and she walks out of the room. That black guy looks at me and says, my God, man. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. I would love for her to get her freak on with me. What the fuck did he just say to me? Get her freak on? What does that mean? Now, I'm not stupid. I realize that was some kind of inference to sex, but why would he think that I would know what he was talking about? Get her freak on. You know, I'm an old 70s DJ. Back when radio was real radio and rock and roll was really rock. We didn't have rap and, well, I'm not even going to go into all of that. But my point is, why would he expect that I would understand this fucking subculture language? This get her freak on. You know, like I said, I'm an old 70s DJ. I still think the way that we thought back then. Get her freak on. You know, a freak. I think of a retard. Oh, there he goes. Now he's picking on the people with disabilities. No, I'm not. You know what? I'm saying the things that you people think. Fuck you. Anyway, does he want to have retarded sex with her? Is that what it is? Retarded sex. Is it spazzed out sex? You might say, well, if she has an orgasm, maybe she'll get all whatever. You know, but I don't understand. Get her freak on. I don't. Do you have to be some kind of freak of nature to have sex with this cocksucker? Is that what the deal is? Is that what he's telling me? I'm trying to understand, what does that mean? And as he goes on further, he goes, you know, man, I've had so many women. You know, I'm married, you know, and I got these five womans, as he puts it. I got these five womans out here, and I got to keep this one happy and get this one happy and that one happy and all of this sort of stuff, and you know, and as he's telling me all that, in the middle of all that, he going, you feel me, brother? And I got this one, and you feel me, brother? You know what? Yeah. You feel me? No, fuck no, I don't feel you. What does he mean? Do you feel me? Does that mean, do you understand? Or does that mean he wants a hand job? I don't know. He's not going to get the hand job, and I'm going to do my best to understand him, but I'm not going to sit and answer his questions while he's telling me something. Every 5 seconds, this motherfucker's asking me, do you feel me? Do you feel me? Well, let me ask you a question. Why didn't he just tell me the fucking story? If it was important enough for him to think that I would be interested in this story, why didn't he just tell me what he wanted to tell me? Why does every 15 seconds this motherfucker have to ask me if do you feel me? Or in the middle of all of that, do you feel me? He's saying, you know what I'm saying? 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 Fuck me, I was wore out. I was wore out and lost track of the conversation. No, I don't know what you're saying because you're inundating me with goddamn questions. Why don't you just tell the fucking story? I'm trying to be somewhat respectful, and I'm kind of nodding once in a while. Well, not nodding. I looked like something on the goddamn dash of a car, one of those head bobble things. I'm just doing this, just nodding my head because he's asking me, do you feel me? Do you understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And all of this sort of stuff. I don't understand why. I mean, I guess I'm just not in touch with people in that way. And I'm trying to figure out how do these cultural, because I know that amongst people in the United States we have different cultures. I get that. But when you're talking, when a white guy and a black guy are talking, there needs to be some kind of generic language that we can all communicate on, don't you think? You know, I got a friend. I've got a friend, and he's a really good friend, and he's a really popular disc jockey at a Mexican radio station. And yes, he's Hispanic, and yes, he's my friend. And he knows how I feel about Mexican radio in the United States, for example. I don't have a problem with the Hispanics. I really don't. I have a problem with those that don't speak English, though. They don't have a right to be here in my book. If you can't speak the fucking language, you don't need to be here except on a 2-week visit. If you're going to be here, if you're going to get permanent residency status, if you're going to apply for citizenship, I think it is incumbent on you to speak and understand our national language. I realize that there are people there's people that are born right here in the United States that don't even, their parents are so fucking ignorant. Oh, we don't want to lose our culture. We don't want to lose our culture. So they teach their kids to speak whatever their original native language was, and these kids have a hard time in school. And so what happens is our tax dollars have to go to get a bilingual, trilingual, quadlingual, whatever they want to call it, teachers in there, pay them more because they have to go to school and learn more. And why does that happen? You know, English, that's what we speak in the United States. I don't get it. I mean, I get the fact that we speak English. But you know what? There's certain areas of town that you go in and you'll never hear English. And a lot of these people can't speak English. And my friend, when he and I meet for a beer sometimes or whatever, he knows that it just irritates the shit out of me. And he'll walk up behind me if we're going to meet at this little bar or something like that and shoot the shit. And he'll walk up and say, "Hey, vato, ¿qué pasó?" What? Vato? Why in the fuck would you call? I mean, I understand. I know what it means. But he does this just to irritate me, and I know he does it in fun. But it just blows me away. You know, he works at a radio station where the only thing on that radio station is Spanish content, is Espanol, everything. And this radio station is a terrestrial radio station. It's part of a big network of stations across the United States. Now, that is supervised by the Federal Communications Commission. Now, why in the world are they not obligated? Why in the world are they not obligated to speak English? You say, well, freedom of speech. But, okay, I get that part, but here's the deal. The FCC has to what? Employ people that speak, that are bilingual, pay them more money in order to supervise and make sure that these people are abiding by all the rules and regulations. I don't get it. If it's going to be governed by if the rules are going to be enforced by the feds, then I would think that these people are under an obligation to speak English. I know there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me. And again, we already know one thing. I do not give a shit. But I just don't understand why we allow all of this stuff. When you were growing up, not all you Gen Xers or whatever they call you, not that you haven't grown up, but when you were growing up, if you're over 35, were you not under the impression that in order to become a citizen in the United States that you had to be able to not only speak but read English? Maybe I'm missing something, and maybe that was never a requirement, but for some reason I just know that it was. I know it was. Now, I haven't even looked that up. I haven't even researched that, but I really thought that was part of that was one of the requirements. And it's obviously not anymore. And everything you see, I just don't understand, And then these people, they want the classification of some kind of minority status. You see, there's certain benefit for people to be classified as a minority because you get special laws written for you. Right? You get special laws written for you. And so I just don't get it. The language thing really upsets me. The way that certain cultures talk amongst themselves, it irritates me that this black guy would think that I would understand his tribe language. Oh, tribe! Oh my God, he said something racist. Fuck you. Fuck you. You can call it whatever you want. The fact that I can't even say that I'm proud to be white. I can't even say that out in public. I can say it here, but I can't I can't wear a T-shirt. I'm white and I'm proud. The blacks can wear a T-shirt talking about black and proud. There's Black History Month. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I remember back when they put in affirmative action, and I think they've demonstrated that that's more of a hindrance than it is any type of a benefit. But there was this there was this guy that owned a business, and I heard this to be real, but I kind of have a feeling it was a joke. But they called up Mr. Jones. We'll call him Mr. Jones. They called up Mr. Jones and they said, Mr. Jones, we're with the EEOC, and according to our records, you have 100 employees, and the way that the law reads, that 20% of your employees should be of a minority status. And he said, you mean black? And she said, well, whatever you want to call that. So he says, hang on a minute, and he presses on the intercom and he says, Hazel's his secretary. Hazel, how many blacks we got working here? She says 22. He said, fire 2 of those son of a bitches. If people did more of this when they're trying to shove this kind of stuff down our throat, this stuff would have disappeared a long time ago. Now, that might have been a tasteless joke or comment, but I really don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that there has to come a point in time. We want people to take responsibility for their own actions, right? We want everybody to take responsibility for their own actions. And when somebody puts together a company of his, he's the one that takes the risks. He's the one that puts in all the hard work to make this company grow, and then all of a sudden he comes under the guidelines and the toolage of certain government agencies that want to tell him how he can risk his money. And I just don't like it. And if somebody gets fired, it's amazing to me. And see, because of the fact that I'm talking about this, there's people going to call me a racist, and they're going to call me all of these sorts of things. But the truth is, if all these people that run around and say, oh, this is so deplorable and this is so terrible, these are the motherfuckers that don't have any ambition in life, and they're not willing to go ahead and put something out there and take a risk with their whole life savings, or put their name on the line and become obligated. And it's, getting into business for yourself is not a way of giving back to the community. It's a way of making money. And people can say whatever they want to say about that. I just do not believe that the government has the right to tell you who you can hire, who you can fire. I just don't. I don't understand. I do not understand why that we have to have, these things that everybody says, well, racism is always alive and well. Sure it is, but it's alive and well on both sides of the fence. And some of the most racist people in the world are people of the minority groups. There's a lot of black folks that absolutely hate white people. Absolutely hate them. But you don't hear about that. All you hear about is the white guy that said something, and then the black group jumps up and they get all bent out of shape, and boy, they demand an apology. And you've got people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. They don't want racism and equality in the United States, because if they had that, and if people realized that we could all work together, which I think would be a good thing, if people ever came together as a particular nation and a group of people and quit worrying about each other, by the color of their skin and all of that sort of stuff, and people came together, the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons of the world would just go away, and none of this stuff would be coming up. You wouldn't have an issue. It's kind of like in Florida on the Trayvon Martin shooting. You would not even have this issue. You would have it would be an issue, of course. It would be an issue that one man shot another man. But no, every goddamn black group in the world decided to rally against this Zimmerman guy. I don't know if Zimmerman was right or wrong in what happened. I don't even have an opinion on that. But my point is why does everything have to be racial? Why does it always have to be the white man keeping the black man down? Now, I'm going to hear, well, because of 200 and some odd years of oppression, and that has not a goddamn thing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me. These people that run around, whatever group they're in, it does. I'm talking about the blacks, but it doesn't matter. Whatever group they're, all these people that want reparations. You want reparations because you want free shit. Well, it's not free. I've suffered this and I've suffered. Then go after the people that made you suffer and do not shove it up my throat. I am sick to death of hearing about this. You know, and it's just amazing to me when something bad happens to somebody, if they are of a minority group, it's always got to be something to do with some kind of racial bias. Bullshit. You know, I mind my own business, but I get tired of I turn on the news and here's Jesse Jackson. You know, let's not forget how Jesse Jackson rose to prominence. Had Martin Luther King not been assassinated, Jesse Jackson would just be another black preacher. And that's, you know, he would be just another. This guy would not be of the fame that he is. There's no way. You know, and then we find out, remember about Jesse. We found out about his little love children and all of that sort of stuff. But you know what? Everybody just wants to ignore that. I'm just so sick of hearing that. I just cannot stand myself. Sometimes it just makes you want to just jump up and scream, shut the fuck up. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. And I'm just sick of hearing things about this. I'm sick of the fact that our nation has become so politically correct that you can't say anything about anybody. You cannot express what you think. We're supposed to live in the freest country in the world, yet we have more restrictions on the things that we say than just about any other country in the world. I don't get it. I do not get it. And you know, and this may be kind of a bummer of a show for some of you people. You're going, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, well, fuck it. Do you know what? Turn it off again. I'll tell you again, turn it off. If you don't like what I'm saying, get the fuck out. You know, I don't understand. You know, I just don't get it. And then, on top of everything else, we have people that just turn around and want to bicker and fight and just go after each other for what reason? Because they can. They don't have anything else to do. And I really believe that this country has turned into a nation of fat, lazy people who just follow the lead of somebody else. You see, I sound like an old fuck now, and it's okay if I do. I don't give a shit. Hell, JD and Sonny are scared to death every time I pick up the microphone. They don't agree with everything I say. They don't have to, because you see, we don't sit and tell people like some of these other people. You guys remember what was it? That radio show. They had somebody in their show. I forgot her name. Nicole. That was it. And they thought, now this is a show that got maybe around 30 listens a show. And Nicole, when she came on, she didn't get a whole lot of listens, so they dumped her ass. Like they had some kind of standards. Remember, this is the same group of people that do what they call comedy skits about pedophilia, that they like to talk about child sex. They have a preacher on there that participates in all of that. calls himself a man of the cloth. He even does a show on their deal about that. But, I'm not going to go off on them. I know that JD and Sonny just cringe every time I pick up the deal because they think that I'm a loose cannon, and I am. But here's what I do know. I say a lot of the things that you guys are too much of a fucking pussy to say. You guys think it. A lot of the stuff that I talk about. I know that there's people out there. When I went off on my tangents about a televangelist, we got tons of messages from preachers that, now they didn't agree with all of my language. I realize my language is a little salty. I'm quick to come out and drop the F-bomb a lot and call people cocksuckers and all of that sort of stuff. Okay, I get that. But you know what? These preachers were actually able to read through my language and realize that my message wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad. But, oh, my God, we got messages from a bunch of losers out there. Oh, my God, that's blasphemous, and that's this. You don't even know what blasphemous is. You heard the word last week and decided to use it this week. Fucking losers. I just do not understand people in general. Although I've all my whole life, for my whole adult life, I've been involved in communicating with people on one venue or another. But I've been involved in radio, and I make my living, if so to speak, and by communicating to people. And when I say I don't understand, I realize that that's kind of become my catchphrase. I don't understand. I don't get it. And because you know what? I don't get it. I don't understand lots of things. I don't understand what would make a motherfucker want to stay home every day and not go to work, not look for a job, just draw a goddamn welfare check, eat until you're bigger than a goddamn battleship, and then wonder why nobody will give you a fucking job. Let me tell some of you fat motherfuckers something. You wonder why people won't hire you, and you think it's some kind of discrimination. The real reason, a lot of human resources people are it's explained to them that if you get an extremely overweight person that comes in and applies for a job, the insurance companies tell them, listen, this guy's going to be a huge hindrance and drain on the insurance policy. And if you want to keep your rates low like they are, you will not hire these people that are overweight, these people that are obese. You won't do that. That's why there's so many policies instituted in companies and corporations where they will help people get off of smoking. And the more people that they can get not to smoke, the cheaper their rates are going to be. And that's just the way it is. So all you fat motherfuckers that can't keep from shoving shit down your goddamn gullet, you might want to try losing a little weight, and I bet you somebody might listen to you and take you seriously about a fucking job, if you're qualified. Now, I realize I go all over the place and I drift off topic, but that's just the way my show runs. I speak about whatever comes to mind. I don't even have a cheat sheet here. Never had one. I've never used one. And then I know there's going to be people out there going to say, no shit, man, you're fucking all over the place. I am all over the place, and that's okay. You know why? Because it's my fucking show. If you don't like it, haul ass. Because you know what? Again, I don't give a shit. I do appreciate the people that listen to our show and appreciate it for what it is, the humor that might be there, the information that might be there, and maybe somebody like myself talks about things that you think about. You don't have to agree. Again, I'll go back. We don't care whether you agree or not. Now, I've been talking for 30 minutes straight, thereabouts, and my voice is starting to fall apart. So I'm going to take a break right now and do something that I've never done. I'm going to play a song. Now, I know that I get all over all the people out there that play music all the time and don't have any communication content in their shows. They just play music and think that that's some kind of talent. But I'm going to go ahead and play not a song, not because I think it's so meaningful. It's just that I'm going to take up a little space and try to get my voice back.
I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit. The devil is a motherfucking liar.
Do you believe in magic?
So you know I ain't worried. Biatch.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly!
Oh, spread the word, sister.
And what you're doing, you're helping God in His work. Hello. It will be. Oh. Hallelujah. I'm sorry. There it is again. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Do you believe in magic?
I always thought it would be kind of fun to be one of those, people who paint nails and stuff, because you would get a chance to tell them about the Lord. I mean, just relaxing Christian music in the background, doing it.
Motherfucker, I am God, bitch. I got a book, wrote a book about it. I come in the name of Jesus. You can't top that, bitch.
Her relatives, friends, and neighbors were practicing fags and dykes, and God struck her dead and made her corpse a pillar of salt.
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Anybody resisting, you goddamn my ass kissing. You ain't down with that? Shut your goddamn ass up.
She's not a Christian! She's tampered in downside stuff! Oh, no, really, I got bad diabetes.
Take a few steps, just a minute, just move around a little bit. There she goes. Oh, glory to God, she's not going to need that walker anymore. God's just putting new strength, new health, burning that arthritis out of her body. Just keep going. Hallelujah.
The anointing of God. Look how miracles that happen.
Do you believe in magic?
God wants you to come in oneness with Him. Your body is not meant to be with another man. Miss Taylor.
Of course, she's a fag lover. When you get married, you'll find your wife will go whip you like a rented mule unless people start following Jesus' word. Shut up, motherfucker. You ain't that.
But I am Biatch. You fucking income fucking poop.
Oh, my God, I think I got control of my voice. Get back, Jack. Jack is right. Jack was the cure. I've been suffering from a summer cold since yesterday, and I started not to even do a show today or this evening. I started not to do a show, but I decided to go ahead and take a shot at it, and that's why I'm not as forceful with my voice as I normally am. Because this cold has played hell on my voice. But, hey, you know what I did? Oh, that's right. I got out my bottle of Jack. Oh, my God. Got me a little Coca-Cola here. And, oh, yeah, get down, Brother Jack. But I played that parody song for a reason, because we're going to go off in another direction now. I'm only going to spend just a little bit of time on these charlatan preachers. And I want, we received a lot of emails since I've done some of my shows about God and religion and preachers. And, we received a lot of, a ton of emails from people that either supported the things that I said, or there were also those people that just called me all kinds of vile names, and that's okay. You know what? I could give a shit. Here's what I do know. Those of you that wrote in and called me vile names and told me that some of the things that I said was blasphemous, and oh, you would hate to be me on Judgment Day and all of that sort of stuff. Fuck you. I don't give a shit what you think, but here's what I do know. You're out there right now listening to me because you don't have the willpower not to. You want to see what Brother Lester, Reverend Lester Bartholomew Jones, that's right, I am a bona fide reverend. I have the credentials to prove it. Just go to Mobster Boss Radio Live. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Go to mobsterbossradio.com, go to our blog page, and you will, my credentials are posted there. And by the way, thank you to JD and Sonny for posting my picture on the Facebook page, on my Facebook. That really kind of pissed me off, and I did not know that JD was going to do that. So, although it's up there, there's nothing I can do about it now. It's not that I was trying to hide myself away from anybody, but I just don't share a whole lot of personal stuff with regard to me on things like that, and I can't imagine why anybody would want to share their personal pictures and their pictures of their family and all that stuff on Facebook. But hey, my picture's up on the Facebook, so if you want to get over there and see what a good-looking motherfucker looks like, a 1970s DJ. And let me show you, if you want to see just what the epitome of perfection is, all you have to do is go to Lester Bartholomew Jones. Go to our Facebook, check me out, and I will, I tell you what, all of you married women, just have your husbands tighten that chain up around your leg, because I am not into doing married chicks, okay? So that'll eliminate about a quarter of the line that will form, because I know a lot of people want to get a piece of the Lester. But hey, let me tell you something. Talking about getting a piece of the Lester, I think I told you guys that I have. I take that back. I didn't. JD and them talked about the fact that I've decided that I've got this little old girl that I'm tied up with, and you guys may remember I met her at the ice cream parlor, and I don't want anybody to judge her just because we met and 15 minutes later we were into the throes of I just treated her into a marathon lovemaking session, and I guess that was all she wrote. She cannot get enough of the Lester, and that's just all there is to it. But you know what? I really like this girl. I call her my little fat bottom girl, and she's really not fat, but I just call her that. And I heard Sonny say something about she's got to be real classy because she went off with me in like the minute we met. But you know what? It's just my animal magnetism. It's just that I am, let's face it. I'm Lester. I'm a stud. That's just it. And you know what? My little fat bottom girl got me off the market. That's right. Ladies, you might as well just step back and go deal with all the mediocre shit that you've dealt with your whole life. Because Lester is off the market. That's a fact. You just have no clue, man. I'm going to tell you what, this girl knows how to please her man. Oh my God! And let me tell you, since I was with her the first time, we had such an intense and physically challenging marathon lovemaking session. I threw my back out and I had to go to the hospital later and get a shot in my back. But I've since been working out again, getting myself back into shape and getting myself all limber. And hey, let me tell you something. I'm thinking that her and I should put out some instructional videos. Just joking. I would never do that. I just wouldn't do that. The reason I wouldn't do that, it would let all the rest of you women know what you're missing in life, and it would just let you know that you have settled for mediocre. That's a fact. Lester Bartholomew Jones is off the market, 9.5 inch. Never mind. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to do it. But hey, you know what? We've had a pretty good show today, I think. We talked about a lot of issues. I know that there was some things that a lot of you guys are not going to agree with. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I almost forgot. And this is, even though I take pride in the fact that I don't take notes, this is what happens when you don't take notes and you don't make notes about what you do, and it doesn't keep you on track. But I've got to talk about something. Well, you know, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I ought to just leave it alone. I'm just not sure. I'm trying to decide on whether. I just don't know. Fuck. You know I'm going to talk about it. All right, here's the deal. There's a show on Spreaker that has been trying like hell to get our attention. Now, these poor motherfuckers can't seem to garner up over 20, 25 listens on a show, and apparently they've been trying to get our attention. And so I'm going to go ahead and give them a little bit of attention. Maybe you guys will give them a listen. I'm not sure. But, you know, they decided because of the fact that Guy Shea got on their wall one night and gave them some attention by saying, I don't hear you until you get up over 5 listens. These little cocksuckers could not help themselves. Jesus Christ, that they even let the audience know how much that pissed them off. All he had to do was just say something like that. It just drove them insane. They threatened Guy about, they were going to do this to him, and I don't mean they physically threatened. They did not. They did it in the spirit of radio, but still, they were really upset. I mean, the guy got to the point that he couldn't even talk. It just blew me away. And so I thought I would just give them a mention. And maybe, just maybe, they could get themselves up over 20, 25 listens. What do you think? I think that if we talk about them and we bring up the fact that they are mediocre at best, and I do mean mediocre. These guys are, they want to do radio. They say they've been doing radio for 2 years, and they want to do radio. And even though I don't agree personally with all the things that Guy Shea has said, I'm gonna come to his defense if I can. Not that he needs me to protect him, he does not. But I'm still going to protect one of the family, and Guy is a part of the Mobster Boss Radio family. That's just the way it is. So, but these guys, they decided, they're going to go after him, and the best they could come up with was that Guy was born in the 60s, so that made him an old man. That's the best they could do. And so I'm going to go ahead and mention them, and I'm going to talk about them, and I'm going to talk about what a mediocre piece of shit show they've got, and how bad they are, and how starved they are for listeners. And I'm going to do all of, you know what? Now I'm not. How about that? I changed my mind. Not even going to bring them up. Don't you just love it? Shik-a-boom, shik-a-boom. How all my exes live in Texas. You know what? The fact that I'm singing, turn out the lights, the party's over. Guess what? That's the end of the show, and I'm not even going to mention these guys' show, the name of their show. Not going to do it. I'm like the old man Bush about broccoli. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Oh, get down. Hey, I love all of you guys. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to my nonsense and putting up with my rhetoric. I do appreciate you guys. Even though I tell everybody to fuck off, I really do appreciate the fact that you guys are in here. But if you don't like me, and if you don't like what I have to say, go fuck yourself. That's all I've got to say. And guess what? That's the end of the fucking show. See ya.